Significant winter storm continues to be expected beginning overnight Thursday into Friday. Friday is going to be brutal, 100 to 120 kilometer wind gusts at the peak. It's going to be a very intense day for sure, and extreme temperature drop, so flash freeze risk as well. It's going to be nasty. Saturday still looks pretty intense. As you can see behind me, this is the Friday forecast from Environment Canada. They've gone to the extreme level here in red for Owen Sound, Goderich, Kincardine, as well as Niagara and areas close to eastern Lake Erie and eastern Lake Ontario as well too, such as Prince Edward County and Kingston, all in the highest risk areas. So flash freeze, eventually blizzard conditions, beginning with rain as well too, and some extreme wind gusts. So it's going to be quite a storm. Please be safe if you're out there, and more details as soon as possible. Bye-bye.
Hey folks, so it's now Thursday. The calm before the storm. Everybody is out. I went to get a box of crackers, and it's just insane amount of people in the stores right now. Everybody's trying to get everything done before the storm gets here, I guess. Insane. So I got looking at the forecast, the snow forecast. So starting, the storm's going to start overnight tonight, and it'll probably be rain to begin with, and then the temperature's going to drop. So Friday we got 30 to 40 centimeters, Saturday approximately 25 centimeters, Sunday 10 to 15, and Monday 1 to 3. So the weather network is now showing, the amounts, and are still looking at waist deep snow. I hope we don't get that much. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We got nowhere to put that much snow. Our yard is not big enough. I can't do it on my own, that's for sure. I'm gonna need help with that. It's just insane. So just before I went out today, I looked at, and there's really light snow around us right now, but everything's approaching. We got the warm coming up from the south, and we got the cold coming from the east or west. So it's on its way. Yeah, we now have a blizzard warning. Crippling blizzard Friday into Saturday. Travel will become dangerous and is not advised. And the hazards, blizzard conditions with wind gusts of 90 to 100 kilometers per hour. That's like 50 to 60 miles per hour. Snowfall amounts 25 to 50 centimeters by Sunday morning. And that is almost 2 feet. Less than a foot to almost 2 feet. But that's just the storm. Like, they're not talking about the snow squalls. I explain that. I'm losing my voice here. Additional snowfall is possible Sunday. Wind chill values into the -20s. That's pretty cold. Flash freeze producing icy and slippery surfaces. And strong winds and blizzard conditions developing Friday morning and continuing into Saturday. Very cold wind chills are expected to develop Friday and persist into the weekend. Flash freeze possible Friday morning. And precipitation may begin as rain or snow late this afternoon before transitioning into rain in many areas tonight. Temperatures are expected to plummet on Friday morning, leading to a potential flash freeze for locations that receive rainfall. Rapidly falling temperatures will be accompanied by strong to damaging winds, along with snow, heavy at times. Blizzard conditions will develop Friday morning. Lake effect snow will result in visibility or variability of snowfall amounts through the weekend. Visibility too. So I was watching a couple live streams last night. Yeah, I was watching one and another one. I got notice of another one starting up, so I paused it because the second one was specific to Ontario, The other one's the U.S., but this, I like this guy because he talks about Canada. The other ones I watch, they don't say anything. Once everything moves up into the Canada, they don't even talk about it. So this guy covers both, which is kind of cool. So I kind of put it on hold while I watched the one specific to Ontario, and then once I was finished watching that one, I went back to the other one. No longer live, but the nice thing about live videos on YouTube, you can actually pause them. So that's kind of cool. You don't have to go back and figure out where you left off. So I got watching. It doesn't look like the storm's overhyped. It actually looks like it's still going to be what they said it was going to be, which disappoints me. But it's crazy. So my sister sent me something last Tuesday, and I'm still waiting for it. So I'm going out every day right now to check the mail. I still haven't got it. It's been more than a week now. But she sent it the same time she sent all the Christmas cards out to everybody. People in BC have got them. People in Nova Scotia have got them. You know. No, I'm just hoping it didn't get put in the wrong mailbox. Because I get other people's mail quite often. And if it goes to it goes to somebody that's not honest, you know, I'll never see it. So hopefully it's just our post office box. Our post office is understaffed right now, so maybe they're just behind. I don't know. I hope. But you know, after she sent it, I ordered something from Amazon. I got it 2 days later. So you know, I don't know. But it's ticking me off that it's taking this long. It shouldn't be that long. So I went to go out today. Another disappointment. My new camera's not working. I went out yesterday, and when I got home, it was frozen up. Because I don't even deal with it anymore. This camera is nice. As soon as I power it up, it automatically comes on and starts recording. So I don't have to worry about forgetting to start recording. It does it automatically. So started everything up yesterday and assumed everything was good. I got home, turned everything off, and the camera stayed on. The little blue light stayed on. So no display or anything, just this little blue light. So the only way I can fix these cameras do that every once in a while anyways. And the only way to fix that is to take the battery out, put it back in to reset. So I figured that's what it was, and I checked, it didn't record anything at all. So I went out, go out today, powered everything up, it didn't start up. Now the blue light, come on, that's it. It'll power up, that's it. It won't, nothing on the display at all. So I took it off, took the battery out, put it back in, tried to turn it on without plugging it in, and same thing. I tried several different times, and it's not starting up. So gotta go back. I'm just so tired of this crap. All the cheap garbage that they sell these days. So I went back to my old SJ cam, so you know it's gonna have all that electrical noise in the video, but at least it works. So I don't know. I can't do anything right now. Probably have to wait till after Christmas to pack it up and send it back. I'm just getting so annoyed with it. Trying to find a camera that'll work. But like I said, it was labeled as an original SJ cam or SJ4000. It's not original. Not if it's an Air. It's not original. So, but keep trying. So I got looking at what's coming at us, and it looks pretty insane. We're not going to get the super cold temperatures, the deep freeze that the U.S. is going to get. Same thing last year when they had those cold temperatures all the way down to Texas. It missed us. We were on the outside edge of that. The same thing's going to happen again. We're still going to get a fast freeze, but it's not going to be as intense. Our temperatures are going to start lower, or start higher, so they're not going to drop quite as low. I'm only seeing, according to the forecast here, I'm only seeing at minus single digits, so that's not too bad. Forget what else I was going to say. Oh yeah, during the live stream, somebody shared their weather station data. I don't remember, I think it was Wisconsin. I think so. But the temperature dropped, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was something like 43 or 45 degrees Fahrenheit to -19 Fahrenheit. So I'll just pick one. 43 to 19 in 10 minutes. That's a fast drop. Holy smokes. I think those were the numbers anyways, but it was something like that. It was crazy. But the snowfall amounts that we're supposed to get, it's like, the storm itself isn't going to bring that much, but it's the snow squalls after. And we're going to get them for a few days. And like I said, like, the snow squalls are not going to be, I'm having a hard time today. Snow squalls are difficult to predict where exactly they're going to affect the most, and difficult to say exactly how much snow we'll get from them. So everything's pretty much a guess as far as that goes. But we are in the area, in the zone that's going to get hit the worst. In our area here, from Lake Huron. And it's going to be insane. So I don't know what to expect completely, but nothing's really changed as far as, well, I watched a video yesterday, and they said it's not going to be as bad as they had first expected, but when I was watching them the live streams last night, it's the same as what they were saying right from the beginning, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. Zach and Ken went up to Owen Sound today. They usually go on Fridays because Zach doesn't work Thursday, or I don't remember. Friday or Saturday they usually go. He doesn't work Thursday, so he has a chance to rest on Friday, and Saturday's usually when they go. But Zach got home from work this morning. He's not working tonight. He's got the night off. I don't know if it's because of the weather, but he's got the night off, so they went up today to get everything done before everything hits. And it's insane. But I don't know if I'm going to go up tomorrow or not. Like I said before, it depends on if it's raining or not. I'm still waiting for that thing from the post office, so I'll probably end up going out again. I don't know. But if it gets to snow, especially if the power goes off, I'm probably going to go out at night during the blizzard. Even if I just walk down to Timmy's. Well, I can't walk down to Timmy's if there's no power. That'll be kind of pointless. But I might go out, even if it's too bad to take the monster out. I might just walk. But it's supposed to start Friday morning sometime. It depends too, because I'm actually sleeping at a nice time right now. I'm going to bed around midnight, and I'm getting up anywhere from 5 to 6 in the morning. I'm back to sleeping once a day right now, which is nice, but if I do that, I might end up sleeping twice. I don't know. I get the occasional day where I wake up too early in the morning and I end up sleeping for a few more hours. But we'll see what happens here. So I will show some highlights of the live streams out so you can see what's coming. And it starts tonight. I'm going to try to have this video up for Thursday night and show you what we're expecting. I still hope this is overhyped, because I got nowhere to put that much snow.
The stream, guys. Today we are not talking about tornadoes. For the first time in a long time, we're not talking about tornadoes. We're not talking about hurricanes. We are talking about a daggone cold front. And let me tell you something, this cold front has been the most talked about thing in the weather world I have ever seen. This is insane. And one of the reasons behind all the hype is because of the sheer amount of people that are being impacted by this storm. I want to show you something really interesting here. All right, so one of the things that's really interesting here is this map. This is the watches and warnings map from the National Weather Service. This is showing us all the different advisories, all the different hazards, okay? And this is the number one craziest thing that I've seen so far out of this event. I've been doing this for a while. I've got a lot of friends, meteorologists who have been doing this for a while. And this is one of the craziest things we've ever seen. Like almost all of the US is under some sort of warning thanks to this storm. Now, a lot of it is a wind chill warning or a wind chill watch. And that's a lot of this light blue color that you see here through the plains down into the panhandle of Texas. All this pink over here is a winter storm warning. And then this orange is a blizzard warning. All right. And then we've got a hard freeze warning down here towards the south, towards the Gulf of Mexico, literally all the way to the beaches. We have a hard freeze warning down here. And then, of course, we've got a lot of winter weather advisories and winter storm watches out a little bit farther to the east. Yo, welcome all the new members, guys. Thank you so much for showing your support. That's awesome. Basically, in this stream, I'm going to go through the weather models and just kind of walk you through everything. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit more and go by region. And then, you know, we're going to look at some stuff that's going on right now. We're going to track this thing. And then one of the cool things about not having tornado warnings during these streams is that I'm actually going to be able to read chat. So I'll be able to take your questions. And we'll be able to hopefully get you that information that you're looking for, because boy, there are so many people looking for it. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. But this is the reason why. This is why you can't go anywhere in America right now without hearing about the weather. And, you know, it's going to be a once per generation kind of like big time event. But the way that it is that isn't going to feel like it for a lot of people. So like it's going to get very cold. That's going to be the number one dangerous thing about this. Like it's going to get extremely cold, but a lot of people are not going to get a lot of snow. Okay. Some people are actually going to get hardly any snow, but still this is going to be a memorable storm for you. And when I say that, a lot of people are like, wait, what are you talking about? Winter storm equals snow. Like there's nothing else that I would care about. I'm going to explain the difference here in just a second as we continue to go through this. And my goodness, the chat is just going crazy. The chat is going crazy, guys. Thank you for letting us know where you're from. I think we've got a good idea now. I've got a good idea of where everybody is watching from. So we're going to go through and take a look at the current situation. And then we are going to go region by region and take a look at everything. Really good thing to point out here from Jenny. Bring in your animals. This includes stray cats. At least leave them in the garage. That's a good one. Animals it's important to think about that. A lot of people watching this right now are going to experience one of the first -20 to -30 degree wind chills of their life. A lot of animals out there are also going to experience that for the first time. I learned the other day that even a Siberian husky isn't like, it's not good to leave them outside if it's below just 5 degrees, really 10 degrees. So imagine that. And it's really important to remember the pets. Thank you, Jenny, for bringing that to our attention. Now, here's the weather map. Doesn't look very crazy. Okay. Oh, DV Twister says, is a cold air mass a storm? Not necessarily, but this cold air mass is being driven down into the United States by a storm. This is going to be a big storm. This is going to be an incredibly, like, it's going to be a snow hurricane pretty much for some parts of southern Ontario and into Canada. The reason it's not going to be as much of a snow big deal here in the U.S., at least south of the Great Lakes, is just because of the lack of moisture. There's so much cold air. There's so much energy. There's so much winds, but there's just not a lot of moisture kind of interacting with that at the right time. Some people are still going to get a bunch of snow, and we'll take a look at that right here in a second. But first, let's take it slow, guys. Let's take it slow. Come on now. things. Okay, here's a good representation of the cold air. I don't know if you guys can see the little icons or not, but this is Nebraska right now. In southeastern Nebraska, south and east of Grand Island, it's 26 degrees. It's a balmy 26 degrees. You can go outside in shorts and a t-shirt. If you're from Nebraska, you probably agree with me, okay? It's 26 degrees. All right, we'll take a little drive past North Platte and go to Alliance, Nebraska. It's negative 12. So you can very clearly see that this is the boundary. We got 30 degree weather back here, negative 10, almost negative 20 degree weather back here. And guess what? It only gets colder the farther back you go. And that does not include the wind chill. A lot of these people up here tonight into tomorrow are going to see negative 30, 40, and 50 degree wind chills. There are some places up here in South Dakota and North Dakota that I'm actually pretty concerned about, some of them seeing negative 70 degree wind chills, which is just not safe for anything to be out in that. That's the kind of, I mean, like, you can have all your doors closed, you can have all your windows closed, you can have the heat running, but ice still forms on the inside of your doors and windows. That's the kind of cold that we're talking about in some of these places up here. It's going to be dangerous. And, you know, I hate saying this because it sounds kind of sensationalized or whatever, but it's deadly. Like, even if you're from North Dakota, these guys are 100%, you know, used to cold weather. But, you know, it's for a specific portion of people, it's going to be unfortunately hard to deal with. Starting tonight, going into the early morning hours tomorrow. Okay, midnight tonight. This is what the radar could look like. Obviously, snow is going to expand a lot as far as coverage goes, the farther we get into this, because this low pressure center is going to deepen very quickly. So it's going to be snowing heavily through a lot of Iowa into all of the state of Wisconsin by midnight tonight. All right, up into the UP of Michigan as well. This is where our blizzard's really going to start. This is when you're really actually going to feel like you're in a blizzard, especially in places like northern Iowa, southern Minnesota, from about now until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. In the morning tomorrow. We're going to have a full-on blizzard through a lot of this area. Madison, Wisconsin, you're going to be one of the places that probably ends up seeing some of the more significant impacts from this. And then as this continues to move, what happens is we've got a lot of moisture over here. Okay, it's going to rain in South Carolina, North Carolina tomorrow morning. That rain's going to try to turn into a little bit of a mix and some snow in the Appalachian Mountains as we get later into the morning and towards the noon and afternoon hours. And then this cold front is really going to start showing itself right here around Illinois, around 11 a.m. And Missouri and Oklahoma. It's going to be snowing back here. The really cold air is still going to be lagged behind the snow a little bit, but for the most part, it's definitely going to feel a lot colder right along this line where the rain switches to snow. This is one of those instances where it's probably going to be in the 50s and 60s out here, and then negative 20, negative 30 back here. And the boundary between that is very thin, and the temperature is going to drop fast. So let's say it's 11 a.m. Tomorrow. It's going to start off as rain in places like Dallas, Little Rock. It's going to start off as rain in Memphis, Evansville, St. Louis, all the way up into Indianapolis and Chicago. Even in some places in Michigan and Ohio, Kentucky, we're going to have rain showers, intermittent rain showers tomorrow. And then, like, almost out of nowhere, the winds are going to change directions and you're going to drop below freezing, and then you're going to start getting snow. Some people could go from 40 degrees to 20 degrees in a matter of hours, and that is what we call a flash freeze. So not only do we have the inches of snow that could fall as the cold front comes through, we've got wet roads, right? We've got runoff from the rain showers that we had earlier in the day. All of that water is going to instantly freeze when this cold front comes by, and then you've got a little bit of snow on top of that. That is going to make for some just absolutely treacherous road conditions out here tomorrow afternoon. This is 4 o'clock. Tomorrow, this is around when I will start the main live stream. So we'll have storm chasers out there. We're going to have people probably around Chicago, St. Louis, giving us a view of the road conditions in those areas. We'll have people in Indianapolis. We'll have somebody in Kentucky, Ohio. We've got you covered here tomorrow. And we're just going to follow the progression of this cold front as we go through. 7 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to be snowing heavily through a lot of Arkansas into Memphis. Okay, we're talking about really heavy snow here in the boot heel of Missouri, up through Evansville, Indianapolis, a lot of Illinois, Chicago, and then this is when the really heavy snow starts to fall in the oven of Michigan. The UP of Michigan is going to be seeing it too, but this is when the blizzard is going to be commencing here across the state of Michigan. We're still rain in Ohio, we're still rain down through the Ohio Valley, and we're still heavy rain out here in the Mid-Atlantic regions. Let's skip forward just a couple more hours. 12 a.m. midnight tomorrow. So we're at Friday now. I'll still be live during this time period. But now our cold front is marching off to the east and it's snowing in Nashville. All right. It's getting ready to start snowing in places like Chattanooga. Right around midnight, it'll be snowing heavily in Lexington, Kentucky with that, 20, 30 mile an hour wind gusts, making it kind of, intermittent blizzard conditions. Cincinnati, Ohio is going to be getting in on some really heavy snow. We're going to see extremely heavy snow up there in Detroit. And once again, the whole state of Michigan will be covered in snow. And you see a trend here. It looks like Michigan's going to be the winner as far as snow totals go by the time this thing is all said and done. Because look, Memphis is dry now. All right, St. Louis is dry now. The snow's gone. Bloomington, Illinois is dry by midnight Friday. Chicago's done. All right. It's the weirdest blizzard you'll ever see in your life. It's if you blink, you're going to miss it in some places. But that's not going to change how impactful this is for a lot of people. Once again, you're still going to be dealing with the flash freeze. And now after the snow goes by, this is when the dangerous temperatures really start to set in back here. And by the way, those dangerous temperatures are also going to make it into Texas and Oklahoma and places farther south. We're going to talk about that right here in a second. But for now, we're kind of focused on the snow. All right. And once we're done with the snow, then we'll talk about the temperatures. So we've got heavy snow through the Ohio Valley up into the Great Lakes region. We're starting to see snow break out in the Northeast up here in Vermont, New Hampshire. But this big warm bubble is going to very quickly melt that. So this is going to move up to the north and east. That snow will change over to rain, and then eventually it'll change back to snow as this comes through. But look at how progressive this cold front is. By 3 a.m. on Friday, it's done snowing in Lexington. It's done snowing in Cincinnati. But now the heaviest snow is in eastern Tennessee. There's some heavier bursts of snow through the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina, Georgia, of course, into West Virginia. A lot of eastern Ohio now seeing that heavy snow. All of Michigan, most of Michigan anyways, is still seeing heavy snow at this point. But the heaviest snow and the craziest weather is really going to be happening up here in Ontario and southern portions of Quebec. From Toronto up through Sudbury, you guys, some of you will have well over a foot of snow, probably closer to 2 feet of snow. You're going to have blowing and drifting snow. You're also going to be experiencing some of these really dangerously cold temperatures and winds around the central area of low pressure. Whenever this really deepens out and undergoes bombogenesis, which I really hate saying that one too. That's kind of like a buzzword that the media likes to use, but it's real. It's actually a real thing. This thing could undergo bombogenesis and drop pressure really fast, causing winds of maybe 60, 70 or hurricane force or above intermittently here in southern portions of Ontario and Canada. And this is going to lead to huge snow drifts and, of course, just a really detrimental to travel blizzard in the greater Great Lakes region, especially the farther north you go. All right, so let's keep pushing her forward. Notice how we go farther into the future. The snow really breaks out here in Canada. And one of the reasons for that is all of this moisture that we've been seeing coming up the East Coast is finally phasing into the system. And it's getting thrown into that cold air, and it's just blowing up. If that were to have happened earlier, we would have seen a foot or two of snow all the way up down through Missouri, Kentucky, into, you know, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. We would have seen that. But because of that late phasing, all that snow is going to be up here into Canada. And our cold front, once again, so progressive, everything's occluding, and then boom, it kind of just disappears. There's going to be a quick hit of snow for Pittsburgh, all of Pennsylvania. There's going to be a real quick hit of snow for places like New York City. I'm talking about 10, 15 minutes. And then we are going to see the snow kind of really hit upstate New York, especially north of the Capital District. And then look at that warm air bubble, though. Isn't this crazy? It's going to be like negative 30 degrees in St. Louis and like 50 degrees in Maine. It's going to be colder in a lot of Texas at 3 p.m. Tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but Friday, than in some parts of Canada near Quebec. I mean, that's just kind of crazy. And I'll show you the temperature gradient here in a second, but the big, giant, historic cold front looks like this. And then you've got this boop, little warm front right here. By the way, big time storms out here over the Atlantic Ocean, probably some big water spout problems. So if you know any fish out there, let them know. But anyways, let's keep pushing this forward, and we'll go out as far as this thing will go. And that's it right there. 1 a.m. Saturday. 1 a.m. Saturday, this thing's going to be out of most of our hair. All right. But, big but, the one area, or the areas that will continue to be heavily impacted, are near the lakes. Look at this, guys. The lake effect snow machines. It's like this is going to be where we end up seeing some crazy snow totals. Look at that. The moisture from the lakes is just getting pulled off of them and then dumped in the form of snow through western Michigan, a lot of the UP of Michigan into northern Wisconsin, and then in places like Buffalo, New York, where we just saw 6 feet of snow. Watertown, all the way up from between Kingston and Montreal. This is going to be our secondary big time threat here, where the lake effect snow is just absolutely going to add insult to injury, where now we're having 10, 20 degree below normal wind chills. And we've got some lake effect snow on top of it. 20, 30, 40 mile an hour winds, an ongoing blizzard problem up here. Okay, so let's take a look at the snow totals from this model. And I want to be very clear about this. All right, I want to be just so clear about what we're getting ready to talk about. This is a conservative forecast, in my opinion, for snow totals, because what we're going to be looking at is a 10-to-1 snow ratio, which means that, I'm sure you've heard about this before, in a lot of cases, for every 1 inch of liquid that falls, so like if it would have been an inch of rain, that equals 10 inches of snow. Have you guys heard about that before? Well, that's technically true in a lot of snow systems. But in a system like this, where it is so cold, the ratio is actually a lot higher than that. 1 inch of liquid could actually be closer to 20 inches of snow, maybe even higher than that in some cases. So this model paints the snow maps in a 10-to-1 ratio. So I think that there's a very good chance that a lot of these totals are underdone. Now, if this model is showing that you're going to get 3 inches of snow, does that mean that you're going to get a foot? No, but 3 to 6 inches is probably more likely, because the model, this one in particular, doesn't necessarily understand how cold it's going to be, and every snowflake is going to stick. In a lot of snowstorms, that's not the case. You guys know how that works. But in this one, it's a little bit different. So let's just take a look, just for fun, at some of these snow totals. What could we expect out here from this storm? Up around Des Moines, we're looking at a lot. By the way, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Man, can you guys see that? For those of you who are watching on a TV, you could probably see it no problem, but there's a little indicator here that shows the inches. I'll do my best to audibly talk about what these numbers are showing, but hopefully you guys can see it. Wherever my cursor is over, it shows the inches here. But anyways, just north of Des Moines, showing 11 inches here. A foot of snow is definitely on the table. The UP of Michigan, there's a lot of places up here that'll see over a foot of snow. I would just about say the entire UP of Michigan, by the time this is all said and done, including the lake effect stuff, the whole UP of Michigan is going to have over a foot of snow, with some places near Houghton and Marquette probably getting well over 2 feet. Now, into the oven mitt of Michigan, a lot of places in eastern Michigan and in central Michigan are going to be looking at 5 to 6 inches of snow on the low end. I think that 7, 8, 9 inches of snow is definitely possible with those higher snow ratios. Detroit, same thing for you, possibly over a foot. But the closer you get to the lake over here, like around Kalamazoo, 2 feet of snow is not out of the question. Muskegon, 2 feet of snow is not out of the question. Traverse City, 2 feet of snow is not out of the question. So Michigan's going to be, the farther west you are in the state, the closer you are to the lake, the better chance you have of getting, I think, close to 2 feet of snow by the time this is all set and done. Okay? And by the way, a lot of southern Ontario here is going to be getting in on more than a foot of snow, close to 2 feet of snow, especially if you're around the greater Sudbury area in Huntsville. Even higher totals maybe over here north of Montreal, which, as you can see, this model's spitting out maybe 30, 40 inches. So we'll see about that. So as you can see, the farther north you are here in the Great Lakes region, the more snow you're going to get. If you're in that darker blue, we're talking about 3 to 6. If you're in that purple to pink, we're talking about maybe, you know, like 5 to 9, something like that. The closer you are to the green, the better chance you are of seeing over a foot or well over a foot. And I'm sorry if you can't see my little indicator here. I'll try to fix that for the next snow stream. I'll try to make something a little bit more pleasing to the eye here. So now, as we go down to the south, places like St. Louis, it's painting 4 inches, okay, or 2 to 4 inches. This is where things get a little tricky because it is going to be cold down here, okay? We could be looking at a higher ratio than 10 to 1. So, but the problem is that cold front. You guys remember watching the progression of the cold front. It's going to be moving so fast, and in a lot of these situations, the cold front outpaces the moisture. So if there's not a lot of moisture hanging around and that quick burst of snow only lasts an hour or two things happen. First of all, less snowflakes fall, right? The less amount of time you're under a snow band, the less snowflakes are going to fall. But also the less time the ground and everything has to resonate to the new temperature. So it's going to be 40, 50, 60 degrees out ahead of this thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's 30 degrees, it's 20 degrees, it's 10 degrees. But the ground is going to take time, and not a lot of time, I must say, but it is going to take a little bit of time to resonate to a level to where every snowflake is going to stick. So the farther south we go, there might be a little bit of melting right at the beginning, but still, this is going to be more than a 10 to 1 ratio for the vast majority of you. So in places like St. Louis, this model showing 2 inches. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 4. Maybe even more than that, but like that's what we're showing right now. The same thing for a lot of Illinois. The farther north you go in Illinois, we're looking at maybe 5, 6 inches of snow. Around Chicago, 4 or 5 inches on the low end. Maybe a little bit more if we get that cold air and the higher ratios. The entire state of Indiana is pretty much the same story. Same thing for Ohio. But here's the thing that this model I don't think is showing very well. On the northwestern side of the Appalachian Mountains, from, let's say, Pittsburgh to Cleveland down to Richmond, Kentucky, and Charleston, this area is probably going to see more snow than what's modeled here because as the storm comes through, there's going to be a burst of moisture, I believe, from the lakes that's going to kind of rake up against the mountains and lead to a period of lake-enhanced snow for the people on the northwestern side of the mountains. Now, it's not going to be like anything anything crazy, but it will increase the snowfall rates for a brief period of time between Pittsburgh and Lexington, leading to, I believe, a good 2 to 4 inches of snow for this area. Some isolated areas could see more than that. Like, for example, this model is showing 6 inches in Columbus, and with that increased ratio, we could be talking about 7 or 8 inches, maybe. But you can, hopefully you're getting a good idea of what this storm is looking like overall, though, just by getting an idea of what these numbers are looking like. It's not crazy. We're not talking about a widespread 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot of snow. And that's because of the really fast moving cold front. From the beginning of this thing, I've been talking about the cold air. The first video I made about this was, this will be the coldest Christmas in a long time. I made a TikTok about the cold air. There's always been the threat of a massive snowstorm, but for a lot of us, we're not getting a massive snowstorm. We're just getting a massive storm with a little bit of snow and a lot of wind and a lot of really, really negative impacts from the wind chills and stuff like that, which we'll talk about more here in a second. Into Pennsylvania, places north of Pittsburgh could see 6-7 inches of snow. Of course, in the higher elevations here in the Appalachian Mountains, a lot of places will see over 1 foot of snow. Places along the coast, though, like Philadelphia, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, up to Boston, the I-95 corridor doesn't look to me like it's going to be getting much snow at all from this. We're talking about a quick hit of snow showers, maybe, but for the most part, this is going to be a rainstorm. It's going to be a windy storm for sure, but it's going to be a rainstorm for a lot of you in this region. And then, of course, in the higher elevations in Vermont, New Hampshire, we could see some good snow. But for the most part, the heaviest snow is going to fall up here in the northern Great Lakes region. We're talking about 2 to 4 inches through a lot of upstate New York, 3 to 6 in some of the more northern areas. And that's just kind of what we're looking at here. Oh, whoa, look at that. Is Buffalo, New York going to get clobbered again? Yeah. So with the lake effect snow that comes after the main event, Buffalo here does look like it on the northern side, could see close to 30 or 40 inches from this. That's nuts. That's nuts. And another thing that's nuts, I don't know if I had the ability to show you surface winds on this. I don't think I can show you 850 millibar winds. Let me try to show you something here. One of the things that a lot of people aren't talking about, and I don't think I've talked about enough, is the strong winds aren't only going to cause a problem on the eastern side of these lakes with lake effect and lake enhanced snow. But some of the winds are going to be blowing like 70, 80, 90 miles per hour over the lakes because it's like frictionless, it's flat water. And by the time you get that much wind flowing over a body of water like this in the right direction, by the time it gets to the other side, you get kind of like a wave pool effect where a lot of the water kind of builds up on one side. So we could have something similar to coastal flooding on the eastern side of some of these lakes. And there are some areas that are pretty decently covered with ice. So you could see some of that coming onto shore as well. And I don't know the exact details about that right now, and I'll look into it. But I know that that is going to be a problem in places around Buffalo, possibly even closer to Watertown, and on the eastern side of these lakes, because you get that much wind going over the water all moves with it, right? And that's going to cause some problems in this area over here. And I'll make sure we have some more details for you on that tomorrow for the big stream. And by the way, if you're just now tuning in, we're talking about the weather, obviously. But we're just kind of getting ready for this massive storm that's getting ready to impact hundreds of millions of people across the U.S. This is probably the most impactful weather event of my lifetime. I'm 28 years old so far. And when I say that, I'm talking about widespread impact. Almost everybody in America will be like, holy smokes, at some point during this storm, whether it's a 20-degree below zero wind chill or 2 feet of snow or a thunderstorm or a really fast temperature change. People like, this is a power outage. water leaks, gas leak, things that happen with extreme cold. This is going to impact the lives of the vast majority of Americans during the one of the busiest travel periods of the year. So that's why there's so much hype around this. That's why you can't go anywhere without hearing about it. And that's why I'm here right now to try to guide you through it, let you know what's going on. I don't want to hype it up. I don't want to scare you or anything like that. But I do want to let you know that like this ain't fake. Like this ain't a joke. Like this is actually going to be a pretty bad situation for a lot of people, but it ain't going to be the end of the world. We are going to have a blizzard. We are going to have a quick hitting snowstorm, and we are going to have some extremely dangerously cold temperatures. But the world will continue to turn after all that is over. This is a good one. The Midwest. It's not the day after. It's tomorrow, guys. It is tomorrow. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that movie. The Day After Tomorrow. It's a good movie. All right, so here's a video from Joseph. Look at this. This is what a lot of your hometowns are going to look like tomorrow, guys. This was I-80 in Fort Bridger, Wyoming today around 1 p.m. Look at that. Look at that. Once again, how many inches of snow are on the ground? Is it 10 or is it 1? It could very well be 1, and it don't matter because whether it's 10 or 1, it's going to look like this. That's why the accumulation doesn't really matter so much tomorrow. If you're driving around in this, it's not going to be fun. Oh, here's something cool. Incredible footage of the cold front covering Denver. It gets good at 19 seconds. This is what we need tomorrow. This is what we need tomorrow. If anybody's watching right now that's going to be tuning in tomorrow, if you have the ability to create time lapses, let's see the time lapses, because we're going to see a lot of imagery like this throughout the country tomorrow. Look at that. You can literally see the cold front. Literally, you can see the cold front coming in. How crazy is that? This is in Denver earlier. And Rosemarie posted this to Twitter. I'm going to retweet that. And so you're seeing a lot of the dust there. It's not going to look exactly like this, like in Missouri, for example. But, especially whenever that rain and snow transition starts taking place, it'll definitely be visible out there. Crazy, crazy stuff. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. A 40-degree temperature difference within 30 minutes. This is from Cheyenne, Wyoming earlier. It was 40 degrees. Look at this. Can you guys see this? It was 40 degrees Fahrenheit at 1:05 p.m. today. And then at 1:35, it was 3 degrees. So this is the same cold front that's going to sweep through the rest of the U.S. tonight into tomorrow, dropping the temperature by 40 degrees in 30 minutes. What's even more interesting than that is the 30 degree and like 10 minute thing. Like, look at this. It went from 43 to 11 in like 10 minutes. Can you imagine? Is that even possible? What does that feel like? It's literally like, it's kind of like the not really, but it's like the closest thing I've ever heard of to that scene in the movie The Day After Tomorrow where everything just like freezes like in a wave. Obviously this isn't that, but that's nuts. That's crazy. 32 degrees in 9 minutes. 32 degrees in 9 minutes. You could literally feel the temperature decreasing. Wow. Nuts. Yeah. Peter says, I can confirm the temperature drop earlier from Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is from my home weather station. 43.1 to 19.4 degrees in the first 10 minutes. What was that like, Peter? Were you outside for this? Because I just literally can't imagine that. Like, that's nuts. Has that happened? That's crazy. 43 to 19 in 10 minutes, 1 hour and 20 minutes ago. Wow. It's currently negative 13. 43 to 19 in 10 minutes. Whew. Literally like being in a slightly chilly room and then walking into a freezer, but it's just happening around you in the atmosphere. Nuts. Uh-oh, Jacob, you ain't gonna be doing this tomorrow, son, or this earlier in the morning tomorrow. I'll tell you that. Jacob says, I'm enjoying the Iowa weather before the cold front moves in. He's in flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. Obviously, I never in a million years advised doing this tomorrow, but please don't try to give me a before and after of this picture. Please. Staying warm when the power goes out. This is the one that I thought was really useful. Try to prevent cold air from getting inside by stuffing towels in the cracks and under doors. That's actually, like, if your power goes out and it's negative 20 degrees outside, you, like, seriously do this. It sounds ridiculous, but, like, actually do this. Like, it's going to help. Like, and the faster you do it after the heat stops running, the better off you're going to be. Keep the curtains and blinds closed. Keep interior doors closed for each room to avoid wasting heat. And be careful with candles and space heaters as they're a fire risk. We always see stuff like that break out during situations like this. And practice portable generator safety. Use only outdoors, at least 20 feet away from garages, windows, and doors, and bundle up. Love it. Keep your pets warm. Keep your pets warm and dry and inside as much as possible. Outdoor animals need to have proper shelter. Dry them off when they come inside, and don't forget their paws, and make sure they have plenty of food and water. I have a Siberian Husky. Okay, we are getting ready to experience a Siberian cold front. I thought, hey, listen, hey, she's gonna love that, man. It's going to remind her of home. But that's not the case. Even a Siberian Husky needs to come inside, or at least be in some area that's warmer if it's going to be 10 to 5 degrees or lower outside. So keep that in mind. And that's a Siberian Husky. So it's important we take care of our pets during times like this. And yeah. I'm glad I was told otherwise. Let's see. Let's come back over here to the chat. By the way, thanks to everybody who's supporting. Like, this is awesome. You don't have to pay to talk to me. It's just like the chat's moving pretty quick, and I want to make sure that we cover all of these super chats. But I am also trying to answer as many non super chats as possible. Like, it's just.